following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Yes, Johnny.
Give me some peanuts and a Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, 'cause it's root. I'm gonna throw this baseball as fast as I can. And it's ow, oh my gosh, I just threw out my arm.
It could also be Cracker Jill now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I apologize. I did not know this.
I
I'm ignorant. I'm 40-year-old ignorant person. So I apologize to all the Cracker Jills out there.
I forgot to mention that. I was shopping and all of a sudden I was like, oh, look at these. And then I was like, wait, it's Cracker Jill.
Hey, if a lady can be a Starfleet captain, she can have her own Cracker Jacks or Jills now, in my opinion.
I'm
a Janeway, Captain Janeway all the way for me.
I was very taken off guard though. I was like, oh, after 40 odd years on this earth of always seeing Cracker Jack, and then you see Cracker Jill, you're like, oh, okay. Well, if you look on Big League Chew now, a nice little other reference to baseball.
Yeah.
There is a softball player. So.
Oh, wow. Question: does Cracker Jill still come with a little gift inside?
Only if Cracker Jack puts it there. Ba-da-ba-da-bum.
I've never been more proud of you than I am in this moment. Just so
I wanted to do the little Groucho Marx.
Yeah.
I had a cigar. Like only if Cracker Jack puts it there. How you guys doing? You know how to get to Carnegie Hall?
How's it going over there?
Yeah, I would imagine they would. I don't know.
Cracker Jack, what about Cracker Jill?
Yeah. See?
I crackered my back once.
I served with a guy that kind of sounded like that. But not to that extreme.
Yeah.
But we used to make fun.
You did though.
but we made it sound like it was that to that extreme.
Yeah.
Like, nah, see? That's what He'd be trying giving us orders because he was like a rank above us. He'd be like, okay, we need you guys to do this, this, and this. We're like, oh, we're gonna go run field exercises today. See, we're gonna do them good.
Spread them, see. The coppers are after us. You see, I gotta throw this baseball as fast as I can. You see.
Yes, today we are talking about baseball and the most probably revolutionary surgery thing to ever happen to baseball.
I would say in sports, because before this surgery, they just pretty much assumed, well, my elbow doesn't work anymore and I'm done.
Yeah. It's time to wrap things up.
Yeah, it's finished. Yeah.
Done and over with.
Pretty fascinating, actually. So we're talking about the Tommy John surgery, of course. And I would say that maybe the closest thing to that now, and it doesn't even have a name after a player or anything like that, is in basketball, especially when like the Achilles or something like that goes out. That used to be a career-ending thing, but now people like Kevin Durant, for example, show you that they can have the surgery and come back and still be very effective.
Yes. Dan Marino had that, and they didn't attach it properly.
Oh, wow.
So he can't flex his foot all the way.
Oh, man. Did they put the laces in?
Oh, geez. Come on. My guy.
I'm
never so mad at a movie in my life.
I'm literally only quoted it because of that movie. That's the only reason.
I was never so mad. Don't pick on Dan Marino. Oh,
well, I thought he was a great sport, man.
Oh, he was. Sport. The best part is, you got any more of that gum, Ace? I don't think that's your damn business, Dan.
But yeah, so when you wanted to do this topic, I mean, obviously I'd heard of it. Tommy
Yeah.
John's is a pretty major thing in pop culture sports, and it certainly and obviously affects baseball more because it deals with the elbow
Mhm.
and the joints in the elbow, and especially pitchers, of course.
Yes.
So I looked into this a little bit, and before today, if you would ask me what Tommy John surgery, like any of the history of it would be, I'd be like, oh, well, some doctor did something. I guess Tommy John's is the name of a joint or something in your elbow, would have been my guess. But no, Tommy John's is actually the first player who received that surgery, so it was named after him. Apparently, he was really early on in his career, Tommy John's,
Mhm.
and he was doing really good. In fact, he didn't get picked for something, and they considered it a snuff. That might be one of the things we need to do to later episode is some of
Snubs
the biggest snuffs when it comes to awards and such.
or
And
flukes, Jamal McGlory making the All-Star team.
what are you talking about? That's one of the greatest basketball / Charlotte Hornets of all time. And so he's like, he wants to come back with a vengeance, right? Like he just got, that's probably one of the best fuels for a player, right? I feel like I deserve this, so I'm going to really show them what a mistake they made. And in doing so, he quote unquote throws out his elbow, which at this time, this is in like the early 70s, right, Andrew? Around in the 70s somewhere.
Yeah, he was talking about even at the age of 13 he hurt his elbow.
Yeah, because you'll hear a noise like it pops or something.
Yeah, he hurt his elbow. Once again, we're talking 60s, 70s, 50s, around in there. So you gotta man up, and you're just going to play. And he
Yeah.
mentions about top pitching for the White Sox, his first team, and he pitched like a one hitter or a shutout, and he woke up the next morning, his elbow was locked in place.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So he could not move it. So he did that. And of course, it's baseball. You're only pitching maybe every 3 to 4 days. So you just say, whatever, ice it up. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait till it gets loose and you're good to go.
Yeah. And on a fateful day, September 25th, 1974, he hears a nice little, like you mentioned, pop in his
Which
elbow.
ironically is also the same thing basketball players will say they hear when their Achilles or something goes out. Like you'll hear a pop. It's one of the things they'll say when they go, "Hey, what happened? I heard a pop." Like it'd be one of the major things they'll comment. There was a pop there.
Yeah.
No word on the snap or the crackle.
And
Stay tuned. I have more cereal jokes.
and so he hears the pop. He gets the ball back. He throws it. And
Or the mall.
Yeah. And and the ball barely goes anywhere. And once again, primitive, non-modern medicine. There's no MRIs, no CT scans, just X-ray. So they
Yep.
X-ray and then like, hey, your elbow looks fine. And they do a test and they kind of like move it, open it up, and it goes way too far. And this doctor, Dr. Frank Job, is like, yeah, that's not good. You're not supposed to do that. So pretty much like we mentioned before, you have that type of injury where your UCL, or what is it? The exact word? I think it's like anterior cruciated ligament.
It's all about the ligaments and such in
Yeah.
your arm and your elbow, especially. It's very rare for a rodent gardener situation where you slip on a baseball and now you can throw the baseball really fast and get into the majors despite still being in the middle to high school. That doesn't happen to everyone. That's like a once in a lifetime. Even I dare say, for the movies that happens.
Yeah.
Instead, what usually happens when you hear a pop or whatever, it's curtains for your elbow in your career, say, but that's what Tommy Johns is thinking at this time. Well, I was doing really good, I had a very promising career going on, and then bam, it's all over. That's all she wrote.
He was thinking about going down to see one of his friends to learn how to throw a knuckleball because you really don't need forced to throw a knuckleball.
Yeah.
But he was talking to the physician for the Dodgers, Mr. Dr. Frank Jobe, and they talked about it, and he was like, well, you could kind of do this. And I guess they did this with polio patients, transplanting ligaments.
Yeah.
That I did not know that until today. So, or
Yeah.
until when I was doing this.
Apparently we have ligaments in our body that don't really do a lot. So they kind of were thinking, oh, well, why don't, when one of the ones that does actually do a lot goes bad or snaps or breaks or you hurt it, perhaps we can take one of these other ones and kind of replace it, basically.
Yeah. So that is what they did. Oh, I believe I'm sorry, the surgery was on September 25th. The injury was July 17th, 1974. I screwed that.
But he was able to go on and have a pretty decent, okay career after that.
But this was the thing because it was revolutionary.
Yes.
Experimental. Dr. Jobe told him, said, I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know if this is going to last you one outing, just 2 days. I don't know. And he said, screw it, do it. And they actually took it out of his left and moved it to his right. So he could throw, like, okay, you don't throw with your left hand. We're gonna move it over. Oh no, I'm sorry, moved it from his right to his left. So they're like, you don't need this. We're gonna move it over. And they weren't sure on how long it was gonna last. And about a year after the surgery, he comes back and he pitches 100% fine. And he was pitching every 4 days. And he went on to pitch another 13 years and rack up another 164 wins.
Yeah. Now, the reason this is a huge deal, again, we can't stress enough that before this, if something like this happened to you, and it happened a lot, especially in baseball, you were done. You were just done. That was it. Your career pitching is finished. And so this is why this was so revolutionary, like you said, is because not only did he have this surgery, but it was pretty dang successful.
Yes. As a matter of fact, the second player to have it, I had his name down there because he called himself the Buzz Aldrin of Tommy John surgery, Brett Strom. So and who is this guy? Like, I never even heard of him, but I've heard of Tommy John, and any baseball fan has heard of Tommy John. So the running joke is, if it's a successful surgery, it's
Tommy John's.
Tommy John. Unsuccessful, it's Brett Strom.
Yeah. Well, that's the case too. That even though I think I saw that it's usually like 80 to 90% chance that it's going to be good, there's still that 15-ish% chance that it's not going to be successful.
But it's just amazing that there's been over 500 players, and it's not just for pitchers. Like, I was looking at the list. It's outfielders, it's third basemen, everywhere that somebody needs this, they've gotten it. And it's just extended careers. I mean, some guys don't bounce back like we mentioned, like they did before, but to be able to extend a career and help a guy keep on playing a game that they love, and most of the time nowadays they're making good money at it, is absolutely amazing. And I don't know if there's a direct connection, like we mentioned, with the Achilles and like ACL stuff and everything else. And now they just don't take a ligament from somebody's body. They actually take them. I've noticed for like ACLs, and I do believe for this as well, they take them from cadavers. So
wow.
You could just have they were like, hey, we need that ligament out of that dead body, and we're going to take it and we're going to put it inside of you, and you're going to give it life.
Wild. I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't. Well, I mean, I guess there's organ transplants and stuff. I guess it'd be no different, really.
So this one, just Tommy John just saying, hey, I want to play baseball. Let's give it a shot. changed the whole entire game of everything. And throughout this whole entire time, Dr. Job, he did not get really any recognition from the Baseball Hall of Fame until 2013.
Wow.
So he revolutionized the game with one surgery. And
Think of all the
really,
careers he saved.
yes. And a lot of people say it should not be called Tommy John, should be called the Dr. Frank Job surgery.
Yeah.
But even Mr. or Dr. Job was like he has two first names. It just rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it Tommy John. Let's keep it Tommy John.
It's way easier to remember and it kind of flows, just the sound of it flows better.
But it's just amazing that I was just looking at it. And a lot of these players I didn't even realize had it. And some of these guys are like Hall of Famers. Some of these guys I've never even heard of, but it's pretty amazing that one little thing. And that's pretty much in the world of sports. It just takes one person to say, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
And how it works out in the end.
Which is pretty wild. I mean, what did he have to lose? You know, if it didn't work, then he was just in his boat he was already in, right?
Yeah. And like you probably would have learned how to throw a knuckleball and probably played another 2 years, but he ended up playing because he
or he'd have to throw underhanded like Rowan Gardner had to learn after he re-hurt his arm. Because I guess after you slip on one baseball, you don't continue to look for baseballs on the field when you're running.
The crazy thing is he made one All-Star game before the surgery. After the surgery, he made 3 All-Star games.
There we go. There we go. Tommy John's not the guy from
what?
From one of my favorite baseball movies, of course.
Oh, Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Mr. Henry Gardner.
Yeah. But at the end of that movie, he has to throw. We got to cover that movie at some point. He rehurts his arm, and he finds out that his mom was actually, because this whole time he thought it was from his dad, who he didn't really, but it was his mom who was actually a star pitcher, and her famous pitch was like his underhanded flick type maneuver,
like some rainbow ball.
Yeah. So he does that, of course, and wins helps them win the game.
I wonder if you've
all the while, may I add, that a half of the Wet Bandits has trapped himself in the locker room
between the two doors.
Between the two doors.
I wonder if you've ever heard of any of these players.
Oh, let's play that game. Let's go.
I like doing this with you. This is all right. Here's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
He has the nickname of Thor.
Oh, great nickname.
Noah Syndergaard.
No idea.
Shohei Ohtani.
I've heard that name.
Okay. I knew I was like thinking maybe that one. I'm trying to find like some big.
If it's a big name, I probably heard it just because I'm pretty deep into like sports cards. So that may be the only reason I've heard them. But I have heard that name for sure. Johnny
Vetters has had this surgery 3 times. I think I would have been like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah. Because you think he'd quit vetting for it.
Yeah. There are a couple of guys that have had it twice. John Smoltz.
I've heard that name, yes.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. Any good, cool names? Oh man, if we ever talk about free agent bust, we got to talk about Carl Pavano.
I do not know that name.
Yeah, but you'll laugh when I tell you how much he got paid and how many games he played. It's pretty ridiculous.
So I'm looking at when I Google search this, there was a top 10 list of the best Tommy John success stories.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just looking at the names and being completely honest with you. I recognize, I think, 2 of them.
Do you know who Bryce Harper is?
Yes, I do know that name. Yeah.
All right. Like I said, I'm looking for semi-household names here. I just like to say this one. Yu Darvish.
I don't know that one, but it's a great name.
I just want to say the name. I Jose Canseco had it.
I
Jeez.
do know that
Dude,
name.
I was okay. I love Jose Canseco. That was like my childhood favorite baseball player. And then
Wasn't that a line in like the first Ninja Turtles movie?
yeah,
See, that's why I know because Raphael says it.
this is
Tell me, you didn't pay good money for this.
Jose Canseco bat.
Yeah.
At that point, he was not what he used to be. So I do remember. Yeah, I know all these guys other than Johnny Vetters on this list. I think we're looking at the same one from MLB.com.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
Where I had so Steven Strasburg is actually a pretty good story when it comes to Tommy John surgery because he was a number one overall draft pick.
Uh-huh.
And they had a lot of hope for him. And then all of a sudden, he gets this surgery. He has to have this surgery. And they were like, I don't know if he's ever going to come back. I don't I don't follow baseball like I used to. I'm just kind of starting to get back into it, but I do know he was on a World Series winning team, so you got to be pretty decent to do that.
Yeah. Well, that's
So,
also a fascinating conversation. Like major high up picks who have a really rough start but actually end up having a good career. Like Joel Embiid for the 76ers is a great example of this, right? Like he was so hurt for the first 2 or 3 seasons of his career, nobody thought that, like, oh man, this guy had all the promise in the world, and we thought it was gonna be one of those Greg Oden type stories, sadly. But he's in the running for MVP of NBA right now. So
he also makes bold claims that he's better than Shaq and Hakeem and David Robinson in their prime.
I understand people being mad at that, but if it's a player that I'm rooting for, I want him to think that. So, no matter how ridiculous that is.
You could think it, but you're not it.
Yeah, but you got to, though. You got to think it, man. Do you think even before Michael Jordan became who he was, I guarantee you he knew in his heart that he was better than all those big players before him that he got compared to.
Yeah, but to compare yourself to 3 definitely probably top 10 centers.
Well, he gets tired of being compared to like Jokic because those two are always running head to head right now. So, but I think he's very, very good. So I'm not going to take anything away from them. But yeah, it's always fun when they say stuff like that, who they think they're better than. It's really man.
Yeah, I think that's one of baseball terms is one of my favorite parts of Moneyball, even though that movie's highly exaggerated.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. It's a great movie though.
It's a good movie. When they do the whole,
Star-Lord plays baseball in it. It's pretty great.
When Brad Pitt are playing Billy Beans talking to the guy that's playing David Justice, and he's like, David Justice is all mad because he's on like the A's and he thinks he's so great, and he's like, just think about it this way: the Yankees are paying you $7 million to play against them, and that's like,
yeah.
it's very interesting there. Like, you don't think you're as great as you think you are anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that this nice, short, sweet episode on Tommy John surgery. I think it's one of those things that it's very short and sweet, but made such a huge impact to the point today where it's just, oh, he hurt his elbow. Go get yourself some Tommy John and see what comes out. See what comes of it. And also, I had a very hard time researching this because every time I did type in Tommy John, it went to the underwear company. I was really getting aggravated. I was like, now I got to type in Tommy John MLB. So if you want to learn more about Tommy John,
the underwear or the elbow surgery,
look up surgery, or if you want to learn more about the player, make sure you type in MLB because you will get transported to the underwear company, which is not a sponsor, but if they'd like to, please sponsor us.
Yeah, we love underwear.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
It's revolutionized the clothing industry, just like
Yeah.
Tommy John surgery did.
Yeah, Tommy John's underwear has just turned the underwear industry upside down and inside out, I would dare say. Nay, a streak upon them.
That is it for this episode of the Retroactive Sports Podcast. On behalf of Johnny, I'm Andrew Lenz, and we will catch you next time.
We're out of here. See you.